Hello and welcome to this Field Technologies Online podcast. I'm Jim Roddy, the president of Jameson Publishing and Field Technologies Online. Thanks for joining us today. As always, we're here to show growing organizations how to capture, generate, and retrieve data at all points of work and service. Our discussion topic for today is TCO in Field Service, and our guest to help give us an inside perspective is John Pomerleau, Director of the Industry Solutions Group for Field Mobility at Motorola. John, thanks for your time today.
Oh, thank you, Jim.
John, can you first talk about some of the unique TCO considerations for mobile devices in field service? It's different from some other markets.
Yeah, it sure is. In field service, we got 5 big areas, we're feeling the pressure from as a service organization. The first one is for my field service guys, I need to drive, additional workforce productivity by the folks out in the field. It's not cheap to outfit my guys in the field, my folks in the field with a truck, equipment, parts, all those types of things. So I need to drive, what else can I be doing to have them either see another customer in the course of the day, close a work order faster, all those kinds of things around productivity so I can, drive additional revenue. The second area is faster service. Customers are demanding faster service to their problem. Typically, we see benchmarks of the order of 12 hours. Customers, from the time they call in, they want some kind of resolution or map to resolution within 12 hours. So that's the second big area. So that means I need to know, I kind of have to have a lens in where we are in the course of our day, which kind of drives the third KPI areas. I need to control, kind of reduce my service-related costs. I have to know where they are so guys aren't crisscrossing back and forth. I make sure that they have the right part, on the vehicle, or I have a parts runner going out there, so I have to control those kinds of costs. Then that drives into the fourth big area was, to drive better visibility into my services. That's kind of mainstream. That's what mobility does. It allows me to see, who's where, what are they using, what part of the day are they in, and are we doing okay, or, are we in jeopardy of our schedule for the day? Then the last area kind of stands alone. We see folks like, okay, we've got them there on time. We're meeting our first-time call resolution. We're meeting on-time commitments. Our service level agreements are up. So what else can they be doing? Customers a lot of times are asking, hey, while you're out here, whether I'm working on a lift truck, in a warehouse, hey, can you replace the lights on this one? Can you do these additional services for me? I want to be able to equip my guys in the field to take on new revenue-driving opportunities.
Got it. So those 5 considerations, again, increased productivity, faster service, reduced costs, visibility into resources, and then that last one, driving revenue. So to analyze those seems like a ton of work, for an IT manager. But can you talk about the impact if they wouldn't conduct a thorough TCO analysis, like this in field service?
Well, if you're not taking a look at those things, what it does is it's going to stretch out how long. You may only have one critical point of pain as a field service organization. We can pick one. For example, getting the team there on time.
Okay. Or
knowing where they are. If I just implement, for example, a GPS application, a GPS black box for my vehicle, that's great. I know where they are. I just did answer that problem, but I didn't address any of the other issues to help that field technician, not only, get there on time, but get him as much information as he can once he's there, and then offer additional services to the customer once he's there to delight the customer. So I'm going back, and then I got to go back and reanalyze, okay, what kind of technology do I need to get this work ticket out there, and how am I going to get this 8.5 by 11 work ticket down to a small form factor? And so you're basically stuck in a technology cycle, like a treadmill, and you're going to end up taking a lot longer to get there. Even if you don't have to implement it all at once, but if you have it all kind of mapped out, and here's where we're going, here's the timeline that we're going to get there, you're much farther ahead, and you'll get there a lot faster.
Got it. So it seems like you'd be doing a lot of the work up front, and in fact, less work up front, when you map it out down the road, because you're either going to get to a point where it's just not working for you and you have to start over, or you just keep adding on, and you don't get the exact solution that you want. You're always in, like you said, that cycle. Is that accurate?
That's exactly it, Jim. It's exactly, you're always in a cycle, a technology cycle, and from a technology manufacturer standpoint, we're fine with that because you keep buying stuff, but really it doesn't pass the common sense test. It really just map everything out ahead of time. You don't have to implement everything, but you have a real good view, and you're not reacting all the time.
Yeah, and you're kind of flunking some of the criteria you put earlier about increasing productivity and reducing costs. If you're always buying, always researching, you're going to flunk those. And the folks listening to this, that's not what they're interested in doing. They've got to solve business problems to keep moving up and keep their organization running. So, last question for you, John. Can you give us one piece of advice to field service executives who are conducting a TCO analysis? What one bit of advice would you give to them?
The first thing, kind of back to what to summarize before, we talked about, take a look at what's the business problem at the end of the day I'm trying to solve, from a high-level standpoint, because really we're looking at, as a service organization, what's my mean time to repair, what's my first-time fix ratio, workforce productivity, how long does it take me to close out a work ticket. All the things we want to solve, and what are the big pain points I'm having as an organization. And then, once we have identified that, okay, so what's the technology that's going to allow us to get there and provide a good platform, not only for this problem, but for the 3 other ones that are going to be uncovered as a result of this.
Mm-hmm. Can you give a specific example? You and I were talking before, and you gave some information about credit card payment and how important it is to have the business problem mapped out and the business processes mapped out before you can actually move ahead with that.
Exactly. That's a good point. And we're talking about whether, for example, if I'm an HVAC person and I'm fixing furnaces, and I've come over and fixed your air conditioning because it's a hot day and it's 90 degrees still in September. What I'll find out is I have to have all the parts on my truck. Basically, I have to know inventoried on them. So I'm going to know what I'm carrying, how much Freon I'm carrying. I also have to know what parts, for example, coils, those kinds of things. I also have to know basic things like labor rates have to be at a flat rate. And I have to know service level agreements. So all of that kind of has to be done ahead of time. My pricing, for example, on Freon, those kinds of things could change literally almost daily. So I have to have all of that kind of mapped out, and I don't have the luxury, for example, of taking 2 weeks to figure out what the pricing is. That all has to be done ahead of time. And it is done and can be done. The reward is, just like you said, once I'm there, I've not only serviced your air conditioning, but I've taken the payment, and my books are already credited. So once you've done all that processing and what our labor rates are and how much can we solve with this up front, you may not be able to do the entire business on a credit card, but you might be able to do these transactional, real simple things that could start to, really shorten your cash flow.
Great. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Hopefully our discussion has given you some insight into TCO in field service, and also stressed the importance of doing the work up front and that TCO analysis before you start moving forward. Before we go, I want to say thanks again to John Pomerleau for joining us today. John, thank you very much for your time.
Tim, thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, nice talking with you. And I know you were pressed for time, and we were talking right as you were about to board a plane for Las Vegas. I appreciate you taking some time to talk with us. And thanks to you so much for listening to this podcast. Our goal at Field Technologies Online is to help IT decision makers optimize field workers, service, and assets. For more information, please visit our website at www.fieldtechnologiesonline.com. Thanks again for listening, everybody. Bye-bye.